And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I am Michael DeLon. Today I'm talking with Colin Hirdman. Colin, thanks for being here today, man.
Thanks, Michael. I'm super excited. Can't wait to get this podcast underway.
Well, I tell you what, you and me both. So Colin runs a company called Rainmaker Grows, and really, what he does is he's created this 100% done for you process to grow your network on LinkedIn and predictably drive more leads and revenue. I love the done for you process. So I can't wait to get into this and understand more about what this thing is, Colin. But tell me, how in the world did you get doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, no, love it. And so I'll start with my entrepreneurial journey here really quick, and I think that'll lead up to, why I'm doing Rainmaker, and I think that'll be a good kind of segue
Awesome.
into the LinkedIn. So, I fell into entrepreneurship. I started my first company a week after I graduated from college with a criminal justice degree. So I never used it, and I never took a business accounting or marketing class when I was in college. So it was just kind of just pure chance. I got thrown into the fire and I learned everything about entrepreneurship, by building businesses. So
Wow.
that first company I sold in 2006. And then in 2007, I started Monkey Island Ventures with two buddies of mine. We've all known each other since we were about 5 years old. And Monkey Island is the name of a park that we played at when we were kids. And that's kind of and that park still exists in St. Paul, Minnesota. And so since 2007, we've started a variety of businesses. A lot of them we're in kind of the tech SaaS space, building software as a service. A lot of those failed. We started a digital marketing company about 9 years ago, and a software development company. Both of those are alive and well. We have about 40 employees between those two companies. And I approached my business partners about 6 months ago, and I said, I've been doing this LinkedIn automation for, our own products. I've been doing it for some of our service companies, and then doing it for some of our software development clients. And I've gotten really good at this LinkedIn automation. And I said, I think I could turn this into a real company. And that was really how Rainmaker got spawned, was just through the last 5 years of me really kind of perfecting the way that I use LinkedIn and realizing that I could build a company out of that. And what I really love about the model is the transparency. And so virtually everything I'm going to share with you and your audience today, they can go and do manually. They don't need me. They don't need Rainmaker. The only reason why, clients hire me is for my strategy, which I'm happy to give freely, and like I'm going to do today. And then for automation, where we're just taking those LinkedIn best practices and things you should be doing and automating those things. So it's really, a scale and time saver. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into some of those details, but happy to also answer any questions or any thoughts you might have
Awesome.
about, the journey as well.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for that journey. I love it. We talked before the podcast. My mother-in-law lives up in Plymouth, Minnesota. So maybe next
Hmm.
time out there, I'll go to Monkey Island and take a
Yeah.
chance to send it to you,
Yeah. Yeah. We can
Um,
jump on the swings.
that's right. That'd be funny. All right, so let's just dive in here because you and I both know. I mean, there are LinkedIn gurus everywhere. Every week there's a new person, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right? I love how you've built yours, and you said, "Hey, I think I can take this out." Let's just talk about what you created and how. And I love. I think you said transparency, and that's
Mhm.
so important because that's just missing, not just in LinkedIn, but in lots of stuff right now.
Yes.
Let's unpack how should they be reaching out and building a network on LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so, when I think about LinkedIn, I think about it in three layers. So the top layer is philosophy, the second layer is audience, and the third layer is strategies and tactics or campaigns.
Yeah.
Uh, so when I think about LinkedIn philosophy, I think about it in a few ways. Number one, this goes without saying, but it's authenticity, right? And
Mhm.
so I, as Colin, need to be authentic to me and how I communicate as an individual. I think most people like LinkedIn. It's still a social network. It's still about people. It's still about building relationships. So using more of just kind of a relaxed, way of communicating, being overly professional is something that I think can sometimes kind of steer you the wrong way when you're trying to communicate with people. So I think that
Yeah.
conversational tone really is what people want.
Yeah.
But you need to be authentic to who you are as an individual, and you also need to be then authentic to your brand. right? So I need to be authentic to Rainmaker as a brand and Monkey Island as a brand and some of my other companies as I operate on LinkedIn. So there's that authenticity part. Then I think you also need to come to LinkedIn with an educational mindset. No one wants to be sold on LinkedIn, right? We're all getting those messages around, people trying to sell us right away before they even know us, before they even know that that's a need of ours. And that doesn't work. And I don't care whether you're using automation or whether you're doing it manually, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
But going with an educational mindset, most people on LinkedIn are willing to be educated. And so the last part of the LinkedIn philosophy that I'll talk about is really where I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I put that pressure on other founders, entrepreneurs, as well as sales and marketing, which is you need to know what the pains and the barriers are that your prospects are trying to get over.
Yeah.
And you also then need to know what is it that they are interested in being educated on. And the most important thing then is you need to know what specifically they want to learn from you, what you can teach your audience that they're interested in learning about. And that's where you really start to build out authority and relationships, and that leads to leads and sales. So that's that top layer. When I think about LinkedIn philosophically, it's authenticity, educational mindset, and then you knowing explicitly what are the different things that your audience wants to learn from you.
Awesome.
So that next layer down is audience. Okay. I build almost all of my audiences out of Sales Navigator. If clients of mine don't have Sales Navigator, I'll use my own, but it's a tool that anyone can buy. It's around like $100 a month if you want to build audiences. You can use regular LinkedIn as well to build audiences. It's just Sales Navigator. You can be more specific. You can save your searches and things like that. So, and I have a really good success rate just using Sales Navigator. But one of the things that I've been thinking about the last few months is audience intent. So how do I find prospects that are further down the purchase path than just Sales Navigator? Again, I mostly rely on Sales Navigator. One of the things that I've been testing now for myself and some of my clients is a couple areas. So one would be LinkedIn events, okay? So for example, LinkedIn themselves will do these live streams where they talk about, video content or what types of content, is best for LinkedIn. And they get thousands of people to sign up for these events. Well, I'll go and I'll see these events and I'll click the attend button. And so now I'm attendee of this event. Once you're an attendee of an event, you can see everyone else that's also attending that event. And so what I can do is I can look at all the other people that are attending this event and say, okay, I'm going to pull out everyone that's a founder or a sales executive of these size companies, and maybe I want to start in Minnesota. I know they're attending that LinkedIn event because they want to learn how to achieve more results on LinkedIn. So they're a better candidate probably for Rainmaker, right? And so anyone listening can do that same thing. Go and find events that your direct competitors are doing or that industry associations or organizations are doing around topics that your business solves for.
Yeah.
And then start pulling audiences out of those events of people that you could start building first connections with. Okay. So that's one way of using audience intent. Another is using a person as a proxy. So there's a woman named Brenda on LinkedIn. She's got 70,000 followers. And all she talks about on LinkedIn is how to build out your LinkedIn profile and when to post content and all these things about LinkedIn, right? A lot of things that Rainmaker doesn't directly solve for, but I know that people are following her because they want to learn how to perform better on LinkedIn. So I'll go to Sales Navigator. I reached out to her and she connected back with me. So now she's for me. I go into Sales Navigator and I type in her name and I say, okay, I want to find everybody that's a first connection to her, but as a second connection to me that is also a founder or a sales executive in Minnesota or whatever that I could reach out to because I know they're most likely following her because they want to learn how to grow on LinkedIn. So I'm using her as a proxy. So that's another thing that your audience could do is use a person as a proxy. So those are a couple of examples of like kind of intent-based audience building that everyone listening to this podcast could start thinking about. So we talked about philosophy. We talked about audiences, and that last layer really are campaigns. And so there's a variety of different campaigns, and I'll talk about a few that have been working, really well for me and for my clients. So one is, a connection campaign. Okay, and we're reaching out to 25 people a day Monday through Friday during normal working hours. So 125 people a week, 500 people a month. We're getting a connection rate of typically between 10 and 40% reaching back and connecting back. We typically are not sending a connection message. Okay. What we're doing is trying to identify audiences that will have, ideally mutual connection. So if geography doesn't matter, maybe we'll start in the city that you have the most connections with, or within an industry that you might have a lot of connections with, because that's really the number one indicator. And if somebody's just going to quickly connect with you back or not is mutual connections. Okay. But those connection campaigns, that's kind of, something that we want to do is continue to grow out that first degree network of valuable prospects. Okay. So after you build out your audience, you want to connect with them. And then as you're posting content, you have a higher probability now of someone seeing your content that could act on it. So there's that benefit.
Yeah.
Then one of the things that we'll do is bolt on a message campaign, right? Where after someone connects, a day later, we'll send out a connection message saying, hey, Michael, thanks so much for connecting. So what I am imploring everyone to do on that first message is definitely don't try to sell. Yeah. Don't even try to help. Just thank them for the connection, right? Yeah. So, and then I'll use this as an example. One of my clients owns a law firm, and he's breaking into the blockchain space. And his first message is, hi, Michael, I'm really passionate about the blockchain community. I know you are as well. Thanks for the connection. Look forward to seeing your content. And that's it. If someone, if they don't reply, then like a week later, he'll send another message out. His second message is something to the effect of, hi, Michael, I find myself more and more writing about the intersection of law and blockchain, and I'm wondering if there's any topics you'd have interest in me writing about. Well, this goes back to when I talk about philosophy. He knows that there is a huge pain point for blockchain founders understanding U.S. regulation and law. And he's using then his second message as a way to open up the door and having these blockchain founders use him as a resource for potentially writing about a topic or maybe even a specific law that may or may not pass. So he's instantly kind of putting himself in a position of being a thought leader, and he's opening it up in a very comfortable way to start building a relationship with these founders. So again, it's kind of this go-giver mindset. What can you provide to your prospects where you'll find a lot of value? So those are very specific, I'd say 100% of myself and my clients are doing those two types of campaigns. The last well, I'll stop right there really quick, Michael, just to see if I have a campaign kind of recipe that I'd like to share with your audience, but I want to see if there was maybe anything else that you wanted to jump in on.
No, so far so good, man. But here, I guess here's what I want my audience to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Dare I say, don't take all these notes and say, I'm going to do all of these right now. Let's process this. Go back and re-listen to the podcast. Take one. Yep. And of everything that you've said so far, here's the one word that really, really just jumps out at me, and it's genuine.
Yep. Absolutely.
Be a human.
Yep. Right? Exactly.
Okay, we could spend a lot of time right there, but just for my audience, just before you take action, go back and re-listen to it. Spend some time thinking and go, I want to do that one. I want to spend 30 days on that one. Maybe, I don't know, but that's my thought.
Yep. Nope. That's a great thought. And I think that really leads into even kind of that genuineness and allowing your personality to shine through is really what I'll share with you now, which is LinkedIn live streams. I think LinkedIn live streams are a huge opportunity for any entrepreneur, salesperson, marketing person to demonstrate thought leadership and to understand whether your topics matter to your audience or not. And here's how it works. And I created a one-page PDF that literally goes through every step of my live stream process, and anyone can follow this process. So I'll be happy to make it available to your audience, Michael, however you see fit. Okay. And the way that it works is some of what we've talked about, whereas you build out an audience. Once that audience is built, you identify, also a topic of a live stream that you think they would be interested in. So, for example, there's EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. There's a book called Traction. It's an operating model for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses. It's great. And there are people called EOS implementers that will help these businesses utilize the system. You meet once a quarter. And these EOS implementers, I said, you know what? I bet they might be interested in Rainmaker. So I created an audience of 200 EOS implementers. I reached out to all 200. About half of them reached back and connected with me, which is a very high conversion rate. So don't expect 50%, but I got about 100 to connect back. Then what I did is I created a deck about 4 months ago about how to grow your network leads and sales using LinkedIn and authentic automation. And that deck I use pretty much every week. And I'm just identifying different audiences, whether it's founders, sales executives, business coaches, and then this time EOS implementers, where I have a topic I know that they are interested in. And the first slide of my deck, I'm just customizing by saying for founders or for EOS implementers or for sales executives. So what I'm doing when I'm marketing this live stream on LinkedIn is that audience resonates with my topic, but they also feel like I created this topic and this live stream just for them, even though like 95% of it is the same, right? And so now I'm not having to create new content every single week, but I'm using something that's getting better and better with these incremental updates that I'm doing. So what I did is then I reached out, I created the live stream on LinkedIn, and I use a product called StreamYard to pipe in the live stream into LinkedIn, and that'll be in that PDF. StreamYard's like $25 a month. And then what I did is I sent out LinkedIn invites to all 100 of the EOS implementers. Again, you can do that manually if you want. All this you can do yourself right after you listen to this podcast. I used Rainmaker, so I automated out all the invites to those 100 EOS implementers, and I got 22 of them to click the attend button on the live stream event. And this is where the real magic is. And I think the biggest benefit of anyone that is trying to generate leads and sales on LinkedIn is this. When someone clicks or doesn't click the attend button, that's giving you a direct indicator on whether or not your audience and your topic are jiving. If you're not getting your audience to click the attend button, then either audience or your topic or both are off. But if you're getting people to click the attend button, I'm getting between 10 and 25 people a week to click the attend button on my live stream. A few things are happening. Number one, you're verifying that your audience and topic are spot on. Number two, you are allowing them to see you as a thought leader, to see your business as a business they can trust. Okay, they're saying, Michael, I like what you're putting out here. I want to learn from you. Therefore, I'm going to click the attend button. You now know who they are. What I do after each live stream is I will follow up with an email, and I'll say, hi, Michael. Thanks again for registering from the LinkedIn live stream that I led this morning. Not sure if you're able to make it or not, but in case you missed it, here's a link to the recording, right? And it just links back to the LinkedIn live stream page. So now the recording is there forever. And then I say, if you ever want to chat about LinkedIn strategy, feel free to grab some time on my calendar here. And I send them my Calendly link. So anyone that's doing, B2B sales and you need to, talk to your prospect, getting a Calendly is incredibly vital and important in your pipeline and in your process. And if you look at what I've just talked about in the last few minutes here, identifying an audience, creating a topic, creating your live stream, inviting people, having them click the attend button, and following up with a Calendly link that isn't spammy, it's not salesy, it's comfortable to you and to the recipient, like you're creating a ton of value. And so what I've found over the last 3 or 4 months is I'm less focused on posting a lot of content on LinkedIn and seeing how many likes and comments I'm getting. And I'm more focused on creating content that I can get people to sign up for, that I know I can start establishing a relationship with and start driving leads and sales. And using LinkedIn, yes, as a way to build out relationships in my network, but I also want LinkedIn to generate leads and sales for me. And this is a great way to do it. And it's all back to our LinkedIn philosophy about authenticity, education, and teaching.
Wow. Okay. That is that is so good in so many ways, and it echoes what I try to teach my clientele, my audience, about building credibility and not chasing prospects. Right? Dan Kennedy taught me years and years ago, I don't want to be a pest.
Right.
I want to be a welcomed guest. I have something that I believe can help you. Right?
Love it.
But maybe here's my philosophy in marketing. I think you'll resonate with this. I want to be the first one you think of and the one you feel the best about when you're ready to make a decision.
I love that. That is spot on. I love that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had a prospect reach out about or giving a referral, and he said in the email that I got today, he goes, versus a competitor, but I trust you way more. And
yes.
that was and you spoke to that. Yes. Yep.
100%. I learned that from Roy Williams, decades ago, and I've just lived that. And it changes the game, right?
Yep.
You're not
Yep.
standing, you're just like, hey, this is what I do. I'm teaching. You're a thought leader. I mean, I talk to people all the time. It's like, why is Tony Robbins who he is?
Yep.
Well, years ago, he wrote a book and he just teaches stuff and he gives stuff away and he has programs to sell, but
Yep.
he waits for you to kind of be involved and say, yeah, I want more of that. And
Exactly.
that's how we as business owners need to operate. We have just been conditioned that we have to sell, we have to be professional, we have to. It's like, oh, shut up. So I love this approach, and I love the fact that anybody can do it on their own. Dare I say, business owners are way too. We really are way too busy to do it, and we need to do it. But
Hmm.
that's why you and Rainmaker come to the forefront to go. We can help you with the automation, but more than that, I love this. The strategy and the different tactics. The LinkedIn events are amazing. We've done a lot of those, right?
Yep.
Is a great way. I did learn about the magic formula there that you just mentioned. I'm like, oh, that's really good.
Hmm. Hmm.
So talk a little bit more about what do you see business owners doing when they try to do something like this? I mean, we all know there's going to be some people listening to this and go, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that. And they get focused on it and then they hit a brick wall or something comes up and they go over here and a week later they haven't done it. And then they go,
Yep.
I'm not going to do that. Oh, another shiny object.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a shiny object. Let's talk about that and how you solve that for business owners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think first off, what I've heard from some of my prospects in the last couple of months is they are using automation and spam as synonyms, and they're not in any way.
Right.
The automation that the Rainmaker is providing is simply on the manual actions you should be taking anyway, and
Yeah.
and automating that. And so those amounts that I talked about, like 25 people a day, that owners, marketers, salespeople, you could probably get enough time in a day to build out an audience and click and connect with 25 people a day, and then follow up with a message and kind of do these live streams. You could do it manually. You could do all of this manually. I know for a fact that for myself and for my clients that have gone the route that I've spoken to today, it has built out leads and generated revenue, real sales. And so if that is your ultimate goal of LinkedIn, is to have that help you drive revenue for your company, the beauty of kind of these numbers that I've given and the kind of the process is that it works. It keeps your pipeline full, and it's authentic. You're contributing really to the value of the LinkedIn network by doing everything that you and I have talked about today.
Right. And let me echo that because we've done that, right? In fact, my son's still doing that because we've read Alex Hormozy's book, right? $100 million leads and
Yeah.
things. And that's what he says. He's like,
Yeah.
that's what I did at the beginning
Yep.
until I got too
Yep.
busy.
Right. Yep.
And that's what we're doing. We're doing a lot of testing and things. And so Caleb and I are out there doing it, seeing what
Yeah.
we're trying to connect and go, okay, now we have found the thing that works. Now let's
Yep.
automate that and go to,
Right.
right?
Yeah. 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 No, that for me, it's it's about building out an ever growing audience of first connections that are high value prospects, and then it's about me and my clients really, that experimentation mindset that you must have when you're doing marketing and sales, which is I'm going to try out this messaging and see how it works. I'm going to try these different live streams and these different topics and see how they work.
Yeah. The other thing that you mentioned that I love that I want my audience to hear because we're doing it and you're doing it is you are I'm using the word franchising. You might use the word niching, right? You're
Sure.
franchising your model to different audiences. You've
Exactly.
perfected it here. You're going to a new audience. And I
Yep.
work with a lot of like financial advisors and estate planning attorneys and PI attorneys, and they have one offering. And I'm like, no, no, no. You have multiple offerings. And what your process allows them to do is to change the beginning of the slide deck to reach out to, okay, or to whatever audience and build a new audience using the same process. Is that fair?
That's exactly right. So I'm saying, like, business coaches. Okay. I go to Sales Navigator and I find people where their title is a business coach,
Mhm.
you know, within certain geos. And then when I create my LinkedIn live stream, you know, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to target business coaches this time. I just changed my first slide to say for business coaches. And that's the image that I use for my LinkedIn live stream event. And you know, the content is pretty much the same each week.
Yeah.
But now these business coaches see a nice alert in their LinkedIn alerts, right? And they click through it, and then they can choose to whether they want to click the attend button or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the beauty again of that attend button, you know who they are as soon as they click it.
And it's so easy. So for instance, in our company, right, we have done for you book creation, publishing, the whole thing, right? We do everything. Um,
Yeah.
and in the last few months, we've heard a lot of business owners go, well, I'm not ready or I can't afford it or whatever. So we've pivoted we still do that, right? But
Yep.
my son's doing done for you lead magnets.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
so he's testing that and we're getting a lot of
Yep.
I do done for you messages because a lot of business owners have a terrible message, right? And
Yep.
so we're testing these in different markets to say, oh,
Yep.
and it helps
Exactly.
us test so that then we can roll out something else. That's
Yes.
oh gosh,
Yes.
that's so
No,
good.
that's exactly right. And part of the beauty of the live stream is when you identify an audience and you create a live stream with a topic and you start inviting people to it, if nobody signs up, well, it's no, you know, skin off your back,
It's a
then
test.
fine. That didn't resonate. Now let me try something else, right? And so
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
that's the whole part of it.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
And I
That
know,
is
yeah.
it's such a success when nobody shows up because you know.
Yes. Right. Well, there's even a success. Like one of the benefits of using LinkedIn live streams is that when you're live, LinkedIn wants to promote that. So
Yeah.
people in your network will see like Michael is live and they'll be, oh, I wonder what Michael's talking about. So you're going to get people coming into your live streams that you weren't even necessarily targeting. But
Right.
one of the things that I realized when I first started doing these live streams 4 months ago is I knew with some of my early events that I had very few attendees. Sometimes I was probably talking to no one. I was just live streaming to myself. But you know what? I was getting comfortable using StreamYard. I was getting comfortable learning how to live stream, being comfortable on camera, being
Yeah.
comfortable, you know, just going through that whole process. And once you start getting comfortable with it, it's just, you know, right now I do my live stream and there's no prep. I just get on 5 minutes before I go live and I do it. So yeah,
I love you,
it's
man.
just a great,
It's
great
so good.
process.
Yeah, because you've
Yeah,
done it. You're just comfortable, right? And I meet with
yeah,
so many business owners there, and video makes them so uncomfortable. I'm like,
right. Yep,
no, just I want to be you. I
yep,
want to show up and I want to hear Colin. And when I
exactly.
fly to Minnesota and we have coffee together, I expect to meet Colin just like this, right? And
Yep,
that's how business should operate. And
agreed.
I tell people all the time, man, if this is Michael, and if you don't like Michael, go away because we're not going to be good together. But if you
Right.
like me, just hang around and watch we'll do a lot of fun things together.
Yeah,
And
yep.
and I had to learn that. Okay. Um, I'm sure we could just go on because you have hit a hot button. And I love the fact. All right, so yeah, the personal nature and putting your link in there, right? My son, all right, this is how he's doing because he's really tracking with what you're doing. And
Yeah.
he does his LinkedIn outreach, but then he created like just a Google Doc of the
Mm,
outline of how he creates these lead magnets. He's like, go check it out. If you're interested, click the button and just schedule a call with me. We'll talk about it. And it's no opt-ins, no nothing.
yeah.
It's
Yep. Yep.
there's no reason why I wouldn't check it out, right? It
Yep.
builds trust and it makes you human, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's part of too what I love about doing the LinkedIn live streams, but you can also do any kind of an event, right? Any kind of a LinkedIn event. You can get people to click the attend button. And when I think about, I was talking to a prospect a couple months ago and I said, well, what is it that your prospects can take an action on that's meaningful to you? And she says, well, probably the only thing right now is, you know, sign up for my email newsletter, right? And when I thought about that, you know, giving someone your email, not knowing what the content's going to be about, not necessarily always knowing like how often you're going to get it, and you already get a bunch of email, just getting an event and clicking the attend button when you're already in LinkedIn, it's such an easy thing to do. And you're still getting the value of like knowing who that person is that's interested in a specific topic
Yeah.
that you're putting on, right? There's just so much value there in just getting someone to click attend. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, we could
It-
definitely go on and on about that. But I'll be happy to share that PDF process of how I do the
yeah.
LinkedIn live streams because I think you and your audience could get a lot of benefit. Again, you could do that whole process all by yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We'll have that in the show notes. And I just want to encourage my audience. I mean, seriously, stop, just go to the beginning and re-listen to this a few times, because Colin has dropped so many nuggets here all around the philosophy that he uses. He talks about the audience of how you can create really multiple audiences for different offers. And isn't that what we've been taught for years from Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy and Alex Ramosi and all these people? That's what you can do as a business owner, but don't do everything at once. Take one and try this. Work it on your own. Or if you're at the place where you'd rather say, you know what, this sounds great, but I'd rather Colin just do it for me, do it with me. Explain, how do you work at Rainmaker, and where
Yeah.
do people find you?
Yeah. Yep. So right now it's a white glove service so all my clients are interacting with me. I don't have any other employees or anything, so it's me. The strategy I will help my clients with is really about how to kind of take the different campaign types and apply it to my clients' LinkedIn profiles. I'm not a brand guy, so I'm not going to tell you if your brand is on or off. I'm not gonna critique your messages. If something's way off and I feel like you're selling hard, I'm gonna say, I don't think that's probably a good idea, but if that's what you want to send, fine. I'm not gonna critique your LinkedIn profile or anything. Like, you have to be, a master of your business and of your industry and what the value props of your business. But what I will help you with is to start filling your pipeline with leads and helping you start to do the right activities on LinkedIn. And virtually 100% of everything I do is happening on your LinkedIn account. So you can log in anytime and look at your LinkedIn analytics. You can look at all the invites that are being sent, whether it's to people or for events. You can look at messages. So everything's happening in my client's LinkedIn account. So that's that other part of transparency that I love. And then I made it a super simple model as well. So it's month to month. There's no long-term contracts. It's $199 a month if I'm just growing out your first degree network. And it's $499 if I'm doing that, plus all the other campaign types that I offer. And there's a campaigns page on the rainmakergrows.com website talking about all the different campaign types that you should be considering. And again, I think 11 out of the 12 you can go do yourself.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Okay, folks, you heard it. This has been so wicked cool. I am so glad you're here, because this solves and brings so much clarity to a lot of what I would call the shiny objects, the bait and switches. It's like, you know what? It's consistency over time is one of my marketing strategies.
Absolutely.
And that's really what you're talking about, because as a relationship, as a network, I'm building a relationship. I need to be adding value first. Hey, why don't you come over here and check this out?
Right.
And then from there, they take baby steps. We let them go through step by step at their pace. And when they're ready, I'm the obvious choice
Yep.
to have a great conversation. And that's really what you're talking about, Colin. This has been so cool. Okay, so what's the website? Really clear so people know where to go.
Yeah, rainmakergrows.com.
Rainmakergrows.com. I'm going to have that in the show notes. We're going to have, I think you probably hang out on LinkedIn, so I'll make sure that your LinkedIn profile's there and connection. And we'll get that PDF, a place where they can get that download for the PDF as well, so that we can equip you to go out and start doing this, reaching out to LinkedIn the right way. And then when you start feeling the pressure that you want to do more or do it even easier, then reach out to Colin at rainmakergrows.com. Let him help you do LinkedIn the right way, build your network, fill your funnel, your schedule. I love putting the schedule link in there, because there's nothing better, dude, than waking up, coming into the office and going, wow, I got 3 appointments. That's kind of fun.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That motivates you, right?
Yeah.
So Colin's got it worked out. He is doing it. He's going to help you do it. And Colin, thank you, man. Thank you for doing what you're doing, for helping business owners, and man, being a guest on my podcast. This was really, really fun for me.
Yeah, there's nothing more valuable to me than helping other entrepreneurs, marketing and salespeople succeed. We need more entrepreneurship. We need more business owners succeeding. And I'm happy to talk about this stuff anytime. The free consultation button on rainmakergrows.com schedules the time directly with me. And I'm happy to give time to anyone that just wants to chat about LinkedIn.
That's awesome. All right, you heard it here, folks. Thanks for joining us. Go to rainmakergrows.com, connect with Colin, and we'll see you back here next week for another great episode of Experts Speak.